Have you ever felt lonely in a room full of people? Not alone, lonely. It's one of the strangest feelings a person can experience. Someone can be standing right beside you, yet your mind feels 1,000 miles away. Now imagine the very first human who ever felt that emptiness. When did it happen? Was loneliness born the moment someone was left behind? Or did it appear much later, after humans built villages, cities, and lives surrounded by strangers? The truth reaches much further back than most people ever imagine. Tonight, we're traveling across thousands of generations to uncover when loneliness first entered the human story, and why your brain still responds to it almost exactly as it did long before roads, books, or even written language existed. Before we begin, let me know where you're watching from in the comments. No matter where you live, this story is also your story. Our journey begins before history, before civilization. Before anyone had a name for loneliness, before anyone had a word for loneliness, our ancestors relied on something far more valuable: each other. Picture the first light of dawn spreading across an endless grassland. There were no locked doors, no sturdy homes, and no one coming to rescue you if danger appeared. Every distant sound demanded attention. Every moving shadow carried the possibility of a predator waiting to strike. Survival was never an individual achievement. It depended on the group. People hunted together, gathered food together, protected one another, cared for children, and shared the warmth of a single fire when darkness settled over the land. Alone, even the strongest person stood little chance. Together, they became resilient enough to endure. A world that offered no second chances. That wasn't simply the best way to live. It was the only way to stay alive. Although thousands of generations have passed, your brain still carries the blueprint of that ancient world. Hidden deep inside is a system shaped by evolution to notice the moment you begin drifting away from other people. That system creates a feeling we now call loneliness. It wasn't designed to make you suffer. It was designed to keep you alive. Think about hunger. You don't enjoy being hungry, yet that discomfort reminds you to find food before your body begins to fail. Thirst does the same, pushing you toward water long before dehydration becomes life-threatening. Loneliness works in much the same way. It urges you to reconnect before isolation turns into something dangerous. For our earliest ancestors, becoming separated from the group could mean losing protection, missing the next hunt, or facing the darkness completely alone. In many cases, isolation wasn't merely uncomfortable, it was fatal. Over countless generations, natural selection favored brains that treated social separation as an emergency. That invisible warning system became woven into human nature itself, so the first humans probably never thought, "I'm lonely." Instead, they felt a quiet alarm, an invisible force pulling them back toward the people who gave them the greatest chance to survive. That ancient signal still lives inside you. Even though the world around you has changed beyond recognition. Even though the world around you has changed beyond recognition. Your brain still responds to that ancient signal. Then, everything began to change. For hundreds of thousands of years, humans wandered from place to place, following food, water, and the changing seasons. Eventually, something extraordinary happened. Small camps became permanent settlements. Settlements grew into villages. Villages expanded into the world's first cities. Life became larger. Relationships became more complex. For the first time in human history, people could spend their entire lives surrounded by hundreds, even thousands, of others without truly knowing them all. That changed loneliness forever. In the distant past, losing your group usually meant physical separation. But as societies grew, a new kind of isolation emerged. You could stand in the middle of a crowd and still feel completely unseen. Language became richer. Stories passed from one generation to the next. Families built stronger bonds. Friendships grew deeper. As our emotional lives became more sophisticated, so did our ability to experience rejection, misunderstanding, and exclusion. Loneliness was no longer only about being physically alone. It became the pain of feeling emotionally disconnected. And that's a very different kind of survival challenge. If you're enjoying this journey into the hidden story of being human, consider subscribing. Every week, we explore the surprising ideas buried inside history, science, and everyday life. Now picture yourself standing in one of the world's earliest cities. Voices echo through narrow streets. Children laugh in the distance. Merchants bargain over goods. Smoke rises above crowded homes as thousands of lives unfold around you. You're surrounded by people, yet no one truly knows you. Your body is safe, but your brain doesn't believe it. The same ancient alarm begins to sound. This time, it isn't warning you about predators hiding beyond the trees. Instead, it's responding to something your mind values just as deeply: the loss of meaningful human connection. In that moment, loneliness became more than a survival instinct. It became one of humanity's most powerful emotions, one capable of shaping relationships, influencing decisions, inspiring art, and leaving its mark on nearly every civilization that followed. And as the modern world continued to expand, that ancient feeling faced a challenge our ancestors could never have imagined. As the modern world continued to grow, that ancient feeling faced a challenge our ancestors could never have imagined. Today, you can speak with someone on the other side of the planet, in seconds. You can build a contact list filled with hundreds of names, scroll through thousands of posts, and watch millions of videos without ever leaving your home. Yet, despite all of that, many people say they feel lonelier than ever before. Why? Because your brain doesn't measure the number of people around you. It measures the quality of your connection with them. For hundreds of thousands of years, connection meant sharing meals around a fire, meeting another person's eyes, hearing familiar voices, feeling a reassuring touch, and knowing someone would stand beside you when danger appeared. Those simple moments shaped the human mind, long before a single screen ever existed. Technology transformed the world. Evolution never had the chance to catch up. Your brain is still searching for the same signals that once meant safety and belonging. A message can brighten your day. A video call can close the distance. Social media can help people find one another across continents. But none of those experiences consistently replace sitting beside another person, laughing together without distraction, or feeling understood without saying very much at all. That's the hidden truth. Modern loneliness isn't proof that something is wrong with you. It's evidence that your brain was designed for a world that no longer exists. The same survival system that once protected an early hunter from dying alone now reacts when conversations feel empty, relationships become superficial, or days pass without genuine human connection. That's the great irony of modern life. Humanity has never been more connected through technology. At the very same time, millions of people have never felt more disconnected inside. The feeling itself isn't a flaw. It's an ancient survival system trying to solve a modern problem with tools that evolved thousands of generations ago. And once you understand that, loneliness begins to look less like an enemy, and more like a message asking one quiet question. Not, how many people are around you? But, who truly knows you? The answer to that question may reveal more about your well-being than almost anything else. Because the story of loneliness has never really been about being alone. It has always been about belonging. It has always been about belonging. That's the part many people overlook. We often treat loneliness as something to hide. We bury it beneath endless work, constant entertainment, or the endless stream of notifications filling our screens, hoping the feeling will eventually fade away. Sometimes it does, but sooner or later, it quietly returns. Not because it's defeating you, because it's still trying to be heard. Think about your phone. When the battery runs low, you don't get angry at the warning. You don't blame the notification for appearing. You simply recharge it because you understand the alert isn't the problem. It's the reminder. Loneliness works in much the same way. It isn't your identity. It isn't a personal failure. And it certainly isn't a sign that you're broken. It's an ancient signal reminding you to reconnect with something every human being has needed since the beginning of our story. Real conversation, experiences. A place where you feel understood. That doesn't require a crowd. For most of human history, people lived in small communities where only a handful of relationships truly mattered. What gave those communities strength wasn't the number of people living together. It was trust. It was belonging. Sometimes a single meaningful relationship was enough to replace fear with comfort, uncertainty with hope, and isolation with a sense of safety. So, when did humans first start feeling lonely? The answer isn't hidden behind one exact date in history. The first spark of loneliness probably appeared the moment an early human realized they had become separated from the people they depended on most. Over countless generations, that survival instinct slowly evolved into one of the deepest emotions we experience today. It still lives inside every one of us, not to make life more difficult, but to remind us of something our ancestors understood without ever needing to explain it. Human beings were never meant to face the world completely alone. And perhaps that's the greatest lesson hidden inside loneliness. The feeling that hurts the most may also be the one quietly guiding you back toward the connection you've been searching for all along. So, the next time loneliness quietly finds its way into your life, remember this: you're not experiencing a flaw unique to the modern world. You're hearing an ancient survival system that has guided human beings for countless generations. A reminder that we were always meant to find strength in one another. If this journey changed the way you think about loneliness, subscribe and join us for the next exploration into the hidden stories that shaped humanity. Until then, stay curious.